Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are two of the Office Blokes.
Yes, we are indeed.
It is true. We've got a Patreon page. Head down to patreon.com, type in Office Blokes React. You can go and join us like loads of people have done. There's loads of block content on there.
That's way too clear, that. You got to mumble a little bit more.
You can just block content on this. Like,
how much is it, Dave?
£1.50 starts at. Key and Peele, Malice at the Palace. There you go. That's all you need to know. Whoa. That's all you need to know about that. Luckily, no one saw that. That just came up in front.
I saw it.
It was a massive dick just appeared on the screen out of nowhere. Mike's been on the PC.
She's been talking, that's why. I thought you meant, right, when you said a massive dick appeared on the screen, I thought someone had done a close-up of you.
You thought I'd stood up for a minute. Right, KKK members reacting to life sentences.
I didn't even know this was still a thing.
Yeah, we talked about it, didn't we, on a recent video where I said that I'd seen it was either a documentary or part of a documentary or something where it was people actively recruiting for the KKK and they're walking around the streets openly handing out flyers and stuff. And I didn't really realise it was a thing still until that happened. And it's a bit sketchy, isn't it, really?
Yeah, especially this day and age. You didn't think it'd be a thing anymore. But
well, it doesn't take much to get put on like the banned groups lists and things like that, especially in this country. Yeah. I suppose our equivalent would be like the National Front or someone like that they used to be prominent in the 80s and 90s.
I don't know if there is a...
I don't know if the EDL are on a banned group list or if they're just kind of laughed at.
Yeah.
You know, they get 10 people turn up to a protest and then 10,000 people turn up on the other side, don't they? Anyway, let's check this out. This is KKK members reacting to getting life sentences.
This KKK member was sentenced to life in prison, but you won't believe why. Welcome back, Charlie here. The Ku Klux Klan, or KKK, was founded as a hate group in the USA. The group was most active in the 1920s, but you may be surprised to learn there are still thousands of members of this evil group. Today we'll look at times KKK members were sentenced to life behind bars, and their wild reactions in the courtroom. First we have to look at Ed.
You see all these like
Junior out of Sopranos.
It does actually. When you see all these people that are like white supremacists, or they're not exactly specimens, are they? You know, they're not all like 6'4", jacked, like you know, the epitome of human physique. They're usually just like.
Imagine if you quiz half these on the beliefs what they've got, half of them probably don't even know what they're doing.
I think you're probably right there. It's probably just a local club to be a part of. And
bandwagon.
Yeah.
Courtroom. First, we have to look at Edgar Ray Killen. Edgar Ray Killen was a prominent KKK member. In 1964, he planned the murder of 3 people. Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner, and James Chaney had their lives ended. The 3 victims were civil rights activists. They were participating in the Freedom Summer of 1964. This was a big civil rights protest in Mississippi. The 3 men had just visited the victims of the burning of a black church. But that's when a KKK member who worked for the police arrested the men. The police said they were speeding, but there was no proof. After the men were released from jail, their car was tailed by the KKK. The KKK then forced their car off the road, and then shot the 3 activists inside, sadly ending their lives. The men were found 44 days later buried in a dam. Shockingly, at the time, the state of Mississippi refused to prosecute any of the men responsible. But in 1967, 18 men were arrested for the incident. This included the KKK leader Sam Bowers, as well as the sheriff and also Edgar Ray Killen. Most of the men involved were sent to prison, except Edgar Ray Killen. He somehow got away with the crime, or so he thought. But many years later, a reporter named Jerry Mitchell was investigating the incident. He found new witnesses, and found new evidence that Edgar Ray Killen was involved, including the fact that he planned these killings. In 2005, at age 80, Killen was arrested once again. The case went to court. He was found guilty for the crimes and was sentenced to 60 years in prison. Given that he was 80 at the time, this of course meant a life sentence. Edgar Ray Killen passed away in 2018 while behind bars. It's a shame justice was only served 40 years after the crime, but although late, at least justice was served. Next.
It's mad that 40 years free and then you get 3 years at the end of your life. It's Madness.
Yeah.
It looks like a nasty bastard as well. You know, sometimes when people just have that
arrogance, ignorance and arrogance.
Yeah.
Next, we have to look at Sean Berry, Lawrence Brewer, and John King. In 1998, these three men ended the life of James Byrd Jr. This took place in Jasper, Texas. The three men offered to give James a ride, but instead of taking James home, the men took him to a remote road. They then assaulted James and dragged him behind a Ford pickup truck for 3 miles. Sadly, James would later pass away from the injuries. The men then left James's body in front of a black church. James was found the next morning. There was no surveillance cameras or any witnesses. So, how were these evil men caught? Well, it was basically down to their own stupidity. Near the area where the killing took place, police found a wrench with the word Berry written on it, obviously belonging to Sean Berry. Police also found a lighter with the word Possum on it. Possum was John King's prison nickname. Lawrence Brewer and John King were well-known white supremacists, making it very obvious this was a hate crime. King even had several very hateful tattoos on his body, including the logo of a hate group named the Confederate Knights of America. A judge found Sean, Lawrence, and John all guilty for James's murder. In 2011, Lawrence Brewer was executed by injection, and in 2019, John King met the same fate. Sean Berry was sentenced to life in prison, but could be out as early as 2038. Next, let's look at Kayla.
Very recent history, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it?
It is.
Kind of associate a lot of this stuff with, being in the 60s and around the civil rights movement, like they were saying. But it's sad to think people are still like this.
And still think that way. I don't know. When's it going to end? Of from generations to sort of to it stops. I don't know.
I think it just takes a generation if people are exposed to the right types of people and stuff. But then if you're from somewhere small where everyone looks like you and everyone is scared of the other and is constantly telling you that people of a different race are bad people, you're just going to grow up thinking that, aren't you?
Norton and Jose Torres. Kayla and Jose were both members of a hate group named Respect the Flag. They were sentenced for an evil attack on an 8-year-old boy's birthday party in Georgia. They said various racial obscenities. They also threatened to use firearms, and also waved Confederate flags, all while drinking heavily. This took place in July 2015, only 1 month after someone ended 9 lives in a black church. Kayla and Jose also threatened various black drivers. A judge later declared Respect the Flag as a street gang. In the courtroom, Kayla Norton cried and apologized to the victims' families.
I would never walk up to you and say those words to you, and I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Jose Torres was also seen crying. In the end, Jose Torres was sentenced to 13 years in prison. Kayla Norton was given 6 years in prison for her part. They were also both banned from entering Douglas County ever again. Next, we have to look at Jeremy Christian. In May 2017, Jeremy was on a train in Portland, Oregon. That's when he had a massive freakout. He started making very racial remarks and threatening many passengers on the train. Taliesin Namkari Mesh and Micah David Cole Fletcher stepped in. They told Jeremy to calm down and stop making hateful remarks. But that's when Jeremy pulled out a knife, stabbing both men along with another passenger named Ricky Best. Micah thankfully survived, but Taliesin and Ricky sadly both passed away. Jeremy Christian then ran away. He was soon arrested and went to trial. The surviving victim, Micah, said that he has nightmares every night, just proving the lasting effects of Jeremy's evil crimes. In the end, Jeremy was given 2 life sentences plus 51 years, with 0 chance of parole, meaning this dangerous and hateful man will never be released from behind bars. That's probably a good thing, seeing as he had a major freakout in court.
Wow.
He began shouting at one of the victims, and even threatened to end her life, eventually having to be removed from the courtroom. Next, we have to look at...
Look at him. As out anyway.
As a cop, or as I don't know if the cops or not, but the guard there,
the court guard.
It'd be so hard to not be like, he tripped over and hit a couple of door frames. I know what you mean. I'd be
proper you'd be well tempted, wouldn't you?
I just couldn't do that job.
No,
just couldn't do it because the amount of restraint you've got to show around disgusting people. But yeah, imagine not only has he ended a couple of lives there, his whole life is gone as well, just for the sake of having an argument and being a racist mob.
Being a dickhead, yeah.
It's just madness.
So many nutters in the world now, though.
I think that's the thing, we're maybe judging some of these people on the metric of us and normal people, whereas they're just, I can't say the word that they are. I think we get demonetised if I say it, but they're special people.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're probably quite severely challenged.
Russell Courtier. This crime also took place in Portland, Oregon. One day, Russell Courtier was arguing with Larnell Bruce Jr. outside a 7-Eleven, but things escalated rapidly. Russell Courtier got into his Jeep and ran over Larnell Bruce Jr., sadly ending his life. But why would Russell Courtier do this? Well, it turns out he was part of a hateful prison gang named European Kindred. He had the group's logo on his hat as well as a tattoo on his leg. His hat was found at the crime scene, and CCTV also caught the whole thing on camera. He was arrested and taken to court. His girlfriend, Colleen Hunt, was also arrested. That's because it was her car that he used, and she was cheering him on inside of the car. Russell Courtier received life imprisonment. Next, we have to look at Charles Newcomb, David Moore.
European Kindred. What a stupid name for a group.
If your last name is Hunt, you wouldn't call your kid with the first name beginning with C, would you?
Yeah, absolutely would not.
And Thomas Driver. These three KKK members plotted to take someone's life. The three men were Florida prison guards and had planned to end the life of someone who used to be an inmate at the prison where they worked. Thankfully, the plot was foiled by the FBI. They wanted to end the life of a man named Warren Williams. This was over a fight one of the men had with Warren. They planned to use insulin to take his life and then dump him in a lake to make it look like he drowned. The FBI was able to save Warren Williams' life. They did this by infiltrating the KKK and finding out their plot to end Warren's life. The men are now in the same prison where they used to work. Only this time, they're not guards, but inmates. Finally, let's look at Harry Rogers. Harry Rogers was the president of the Virginia KKK. In 2021, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. This was for driving his truck through a crowd of protesters. The protesters had gathered to protest the killing of George Floyd. That's when Harry Rogers drove his truck into many people. Thankfully, no one passed away, but there were various injuries. He pleaded guilty to 3 counts of assault, 1 count of destruction of property, and 1 count of hit and run. Footage later emerged of Harry at Klan member meetings, showing that what he did was by no means a mistake. Although he was sentenced to 5 years, some said that wasn't enough. That's because if Harry was driving his truck any faster, people could have easily lost their lives. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment down.
I can't remember that last one.
5 years.
I know.
It's just attempted murder.
We've had situations today in the UK.
Yeah.
Where someone's gone out and murdered a few people and run over some people as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'll be getting off lightly.
No.
5 years.
It sounds like that was a terror attack from what I've gathered, but we don't know yet. You can only speculate. Yeah. But based off witness accounts and things like that, it seems like that. And when there was one last week in France as well, it seems to have been quiet for a while, that sort of stuff. Because that's a terror attack. That guy did is a terror attack as well. I hope it's not going to become a thing again, because we had a phase of it being.
Just what's wrong with people though? What goes through their minds the way they act and behave like this?
Just get on with your life.
I know.
Walk away. Like if you really don't like a certain group of people, go and be somewhere else and just don't be around them.
I don't know.
It's madness.
Baffles me. It does.
Yeah.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.